the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up. The line's wrapped around the stadium. Different strengths. Mm-hmm. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
This is some back. I love.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. All right, welcome in here to a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, as always, GEAUX, Chevrolet.com. What a beautiful morning. I mean, what a crisp fall,
for us,
beautiful morning, yes. And look, I want to start with that. In fact, we're going to talk to Dr. Steve Caparotta, meteorologist over at WAFB, who I hope you're following on Twitter for his content, but especially right now when there is threats of a storm in the Gulf of Mexico, which is imminent right now. And Dr. Caparotta had a experience yesterday that I'm telling you, I was watching with one eye open. He jumped up into a plane yesterday and drove and flew through Hurricane. It's Ian, right? Yes.
Hurricane Ian.
Hurricane Ian. And, I mean, just the vantage point and the view of what it was looking at. If you're not following on Twitter, it's incredible. But Dr. Caparotta will be here at 7:15 this morning. We're also going to talk to Brody Miller, who is going to be here at 8 a.m. this morning. We will talk to him about what's going on with LSU going into Auburn, possible threats of weather and how it could affect this game. It seems like at this point all is moving forward as planned right now. I know that there are some games that are being moved around. University of Florida announced that they're going to play on Sunday now. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have moved their headquarters out of Tampa, actually south to Miami, and are scheduled to play later this weekend. So it is, this is a major storm that is headed towards Florida, and looks that it could be very catastrophic if it just changes a couple of paces. But we're going to talk to Dr. Caparotta about the weather, the experience, and from a local standpoint, how it could affect us here with the next couple of days seeming like it's going to hit. So we'll talk all about what's going on in and around the game here leading up to it. Speaking of Miami, the Dolphins are going to be back in action after a crazy game on Sunday versus Buffalo versus Joey in Cincinnati on Thursday night in the NFL. So we'll talk a little bit about that one as well before we get out of here. But LSU and Auburn right now trending towards game week here. And as we said, this spread has been just very crazy to watch bounce around, right? I mean, last I checked, it was at 7.5. Still have it at 9 going into Saturday. So it is going to be wild to see how this game plays out. We're also going to see if LSU is, some of the changes that they've made leading into the game and how those stick on the road. First time you're seeing them travel in the SEC on the road. So we'll have a chance to see some of these decisions that they've made early on in the season and see how they pay off once they get away from campus.
And it's mailbag day.
Yes.
Get your phone calls in. What's the number? 225-229-7741. 7741. Have a call. Don't suck. Thank you, sir.
Taking your voicemails, and we are taking your calls as well before we get out of here at 9 a.m. this morning. Looking forward to talking to Brody to get some of the storylines heading in here into game week as LSU is scheduled to take on Auburn on Saturday. Seems like all is going to be good with that game as far as the weather's concerned. As we said, we will talk to Dr. Caparotta coming up here in a couple of minutes to see what he feels is kind of the path of this thing. But it will be interesting to see how this weekend pays out with what's going on. Speaking of Brody, he had a great write-up on John Emery. And, we were talking about John Emery and this LSU running back room last week and some of the rotations that they're trying to figure out. And Armani Goodwin left the game early last week versus New Mexico, which is probably, the biggest takeaway that you take out of there from a negative standpoint is that, LSU, for the most part, played it pretty clean, stayed healthy. Goodwin left the game seemingly with a hamstring, which seemed like best case scenario. If you watched it live, it kind of felt like it was, it was not going to be good. But hopefully he can get that rehabbed and get it back in order to get him back on the field pretty quick here. And from Emery's standpoint, it's been a slow start, right? I mean, it's been a slow getting his feet back under him in the standpoint of just seeing the game. I think we talked about that earlier this week in what he's looking at. He just doesn't quite trust it yet. I think Coach Caskey had great breakdown yesterday. By the way, if you did not watch Caskey's clicker yesterday with Rohan sat in with Coach, it was some good stuff. It was some high level football discussion and breakdown of what was going on with the Saints, with LSU, some looks at Auburn, the quarterback Robbie Ashford, the true freshman quarterback, was spotlighted by Caskey and Rohan. It's fantastic stuff. It's on the YouTube channel. They've got a YouTube channel that we've created for Caskey's Clicker that you can get to from our YouTube station. The full extended cut is on the Jordy Culotta Show YouTube page, and then from there, some of the cuts are broken down on Caskey's Clicker, where you can see specific segments on Saints offense, Saints defense, LSU offense, LSU defense, Auburn, etc. So it's really cool in-depth look. I mean, if you are looking for the X's and O's and looking really to learn some football, if you really love it and you're watching it very intently on Saturday and Sunday, this is a great opportunity to kind of, get an idea of what you're looking at. I think a lot of us just kind of, when we watch football, we just kind of follow the ball, and that's the part of the entertainment. But I think if you watch Caskey's Clicker, you can kind of see the game within the game. I mean, I mean, he's explaining to you what a bear front is, what the offensive line's responsibilities are. Some of the checks that the quarterbacks and receivers are looking at, how they're getting into hot routes. I mean, it is some high level football stuff. And then you throw Rohan into the mix, and he starts talking about his experiences with, Belichick and Brady and New England and some of the things that he's seen with Jimbo Fisher and it's just, look, it's good access and good stuff, man.
It's a perfect combination of the two, and Roe kind of just walked into it. You can tell that's what makes Roe so great, is he can just kind of walk in, and he doesn't have to have any prep because he knows the game so well. So he just sat in the chair, and they started going back and forth. So you started to get the quarterback's perspective. They were breaking down a little bit. Is it Robbie Ashford for Auburn? Yeah. They started looking at, Roe was looking at what makes him kind of, I wouldn't say why he's not able to do too much as a passer right now. And if that's who gets to start, which I think Auburn did name him the starter, they said that there's some ways that LSU can make him, if you force him to run the football, that's when he's great. Or no, force him to throw the football. Yeah, you got a real shot to really kind of make this thing ugly quick. If you shut down the running game, and they went into some pretty a couple of plays in which Robbie, tries to throw it, and you can see why he's so raw. He's a former baseball player where I think he was ranked pretty highly. And you could just tell he has a little baseball in his background. So it was a great breakdown to see those two work together.
Yeah. No, and look, I think that LSU, like we said, football, you got to catch some breaks. It's about timing. And I think LSU is catching a break with the timing that they're getting Auburn. I think this is a great time to travel to Jordan-Hare. I mean, this is a great time to go to Auburn where, it feels like the priority list, game planning the actual Saturday is a couple of notches down on the priority. So, if you can catch them now, and LSU is gaining confidence and starting to figure out who they are, gaining identity, which is kind of what we talked about the first couple of weeks of the season. Who are you? Who do you want to be? These are the games that you can really figure this stuff out. Look, and it's good to get away from the facility. It's good to get out of your comfort zone. It's good to, just to be with the team, just to be with your group. I was talking to David Brewerton, who, obviously head coach over at Zachary. They had a bye week last Friday, and we're doing a documentary that is set to debut next week, brought to you by our friends over at Bank of Zachary. And Mark Marino and his great team over there at Bank of Zachary have really helped us out with supporting this project, and we're so thankful to them. We're over there yesterday shooting some of the segments that we're going to include in the build-up to Zachary and Woodlawn, which is going to play out on October 6th. But, it's just been really cool to go over and learn about Woodlawn, learn about Zachary, and have those opportunities to dive in and learn about those programs. And Brewerton and Zachary had a week off last week, and they're going to Mississippi to play Winona this Friday. And he talked about the advantage of getting away from the facility. I see Dr. Steve Caparotta, who's just sat down. I know that he is a very busy guy right now and what's going on. So I'm going to go straight to him, and we'll get back to our conversation when we can get through the next couple of minutes here with Dr. Caparotta, who had an incredible experience that I want to hear about. But obviously, Doc, good morning. I know you're very busy. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no, happy to be here, Jordy. Thanks for inviting me on.
So tell me where we are with Hurricane Ian, and just what's the latest?
Yeah, the news overnight has largely been bad over there for our friends in Florida because it rapidly intensified. So when most of us went to bed last night, it was Category 3, maximum wind somewhere around 120 miles per hour. Now a strong Category 4. Maximum winds 155. Cool. So that's just shy of Category 5 intensity, which is 157 plus. So it's getting close to landfall. It's just kind of west of Fort Myers right now. Looks like it'll come inland later on today. Probably a little bit, maybe after lunchtime today.
So any threat here, or what's the closest threat as far as what it looks like here locally? What would happen? Could we feel the effects of it?
The effect we feel, it's kind of crazy how these things work, but we actually benefit from it in a sense. We already had this cold front that came through several days ago. It's given us the nice weather. And now that we're kind of far west of Ian, the northerly flow on the backside just kind of reinforces the cooler and drier weather we're getting. And that's actually even going to knock our temperatures down a little bit more tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow's high might not even reach 80 degrees. So, it's hard to talk about benefiting from a hurricane
Sure.
when you know it's headed towards Florida, but it truly does. It actually kind of amplifies our nice weather because it's going to be well to our east. So really, impacts are largely going to be confined to the Florida Peninsula and then a little bit of coastal Georgia, South Carolina on down the line. But by the time it gets up towards Georgia and South Carolina, it'll be a much weaker system.
Dr. Steve Caparotta joining us here with the latest on Hurricane Ian, which is barreling down to the Florida Gulf Coast right now. Doc, this is a late storm season, correct? I know that this is non-typically like not the window that we see hurricanes of this strength landing.
Yeah, we can certainly still get them this time of year. It was just a really slow start to the year, especially because just about all the groups that do these preseason forecasts, maybe it's kind of like preseason polls in football, right? But the preseason forecast indicated a really active season. And up until a couple of weeks ago, that was largely looking like a bust. But yeah, it's really ramped up. Florida, not uncommon at all, actually. Late September, October, I think might even be among your busier months. So we could still get some strong ones, even in our part of the world. We've had some strong hurricanes this late in the season, but we're kind of moving past sort of the historical peak, but you still got to get through really the next few weeks before things really start to settle down.
Can you tell me about your experience yesterday? I mean, I was so third-hand stressed out, anxious, and just, curled up watching what you did yesterday. Please tell our audience.
Yeah, so I got, kind of a bucket list item, I guess. I got to hop aboard with the Hurricane Hunters. There's two groups that do it. The Air Force Reserve at Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, and then NOAA has their own group in Florida. The guys in Biloxi have actually been doing it longer. But so myself and our photographer, Brandon Shackelford, we got on the road 11 o'clock Monday night, drove to Biloxi. We were scheduled for a 4 a.m. flight, and we were told a 2 a.m. roll call. So we had to leave, 11 to make sure we had a little wiggle time. We get in a little before 1:30, and our flight time got delayed a little bit because Ian was crossing Cuba. And this probably won't shock anybody, but you can't fly a plane, a U.S. military aircraft over Cuba, right?
Sure.
So we had to delay a little bit. We took off around 5:30 yesterday morning. But we were up in the air for 10 hours, which is pretty typical for the missions that they do. And we did 5 separate crisscrosses through the eye of the storm. And it's one of those experiences that's kind of hard to describe without living it. But as you go through the eye wall, the turbulence, it is the real deal. It looked like you guys pulled up one of the videos. I posted a couple of them to social media. We're going to try to do a little more with it today. But, man, your stomach up into your throat almost. And so talking to one of the pilots after, I kind of had a feeling what he was going to tell me. But I said, where does this storm kind of rank? He's been doing it about 15 years. And he said, yeah, for me, it was kind of a mid-range storm. So that wasn't even one of the worst, but it was cat 3, as we were crossing through it, and it's the real deal. It's not if you don't like flying, if the bumpiness isn't for you, you can't do this. But from our perspective, it's pretty cool because it was pretty open access. You can see there we're on the flight deck, literally right behind the 2 pilots. And at one point, the audio, the navigation system saying throttle, responding to this turbulence that we were hitting. And we were just having to hold on the whole time. But what's kind of neat, being on these flights, they kind of gave us open rein to move around. It's kind of at your own risk. It's not like a commercial flight where they, say don't remove your seatbelt. They kind of let you move around, which was cool. At the same time as you're doing it, you're feeling how bad it is, and you're knowing what's headed to Florida. And it just makes you feel terrible.
Well, when they're saying throttle, throttle, are you like, hey, are we all good boys, or like if you're hearing, things come from the helicopter, if they never get nervous, right? But if they get nervous, do you start to get nervous?
Yeah, those guys were. I mean, one of the pilot there on the left, which by the way, last name Boudreaux. You can guess where he's from.
You're all good.
Absolutely.
And we're actually kind of working. We're going to try to do a story focus on him today. But he literally had a hot cup of coffee sitting there on a little ledge to his left. As we're approaching that eye wall, he's casually sipping this coffee. And Brandon and I, photographer, are like, man, we're kind of nervous. Brandon said that particular time, as he heard throttle, he's saying, man, what did you get us into, Steve? Are we safe? But for me, I'm sitting there, I'm reading the room, and I'm reading these guys. They look calm as can be. And so seeing them calm, that was reassuring to me, knowing how much they've done it. It was cool. I'm not saying you don't get nervous, but it wasn't too bad.
Do you like flying? Are you nervous as a flyer?
No, I'm fine.
You're good with it?
My wife is my wife is awful. And honestly, Jordy, I thought my wife was going to be the one to shut it down. Cause I kind of texted her on Friday. I was trying to arrange this. I said, are you going to kill me if I try to get on one of these flights? Cause I think she had told me before, you better not, we got 2 kids now.
Yeah,
she's
right.
like, you better not do that.
Yeah.
But she's like, as long as you up the life insurance before you go, we're good to go.
What time's that flight?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
What did you see in the eye of this? Are you good right now? Are you good on time? I know that you can. One more minute. What did you see in the eye of the storm?
Yeah, one more. I might have to talk a little quieter. They're about to start in the studio behind me. So as we got in the eye, it wasn't one of those real clean eyes yet, like it probably is this morning, but there was no doubt when you got in the eye, because you go through the eye wall, it's the roughest part, you're bouncing up and down, and then you would see sunshine all of a sudden.
Wow.
And then it's a pretty smooth ride, and in different we went through 5 times, and some of the different passages you could actually kind of make out the curved bands of the eye wall. And it's incredible, and it's kind of indescribable. Without living it, it's hard to describe what it's like.
That was a professional day for you that will live on for. That you'll remember that for forever, right?
Oh, no doubt. And look, and just I'm gonna reach over here. This thing right here,
wow.
I got to come home with kind of a cool souvenir. So this is called the drop sign.
Lloyd,
these
you
go through a chute.
Oh.
So these go through a chute out of the bottom of the plane, and they've got a parachute. And anyway, it falls down, measures all the temperature, the wind speed, the pressure. So they had one that was damaged, and he said, it's all yours.
Wow.
And so it's pretty cool to bring this home.
Doc, that is so cool, man. I hear him behind you. Great experience, great information as always. For all of our listeners, keep up with WAFB, Dr. Steve Caparotta and their team over there, keeping you up with Hurricane Ian. Thank you as always. Talk to you soon.
Yeah. All right. Take care, Jordy.
All right, man. There he is. He is on Twitter at SteveWAFB. At SteveWAFB is where you can find him. And, of course, our partners over at WAFB, a phenomenal, the best news channel in the state of Louisiana, but they cover weather better than anybody, man. You got to go over there and see it. And some of the images of Ian at this point right now are Katrina-esque. Just the size, the scope, the intensity of this storm. I know that thoughts and prayers is a term that is very much overused, but right now, if you or know anyone in and around Florida, and it looks like it is barreling down just to the central portion, Tampa, Fort Myers portion of the state, that it is coming with some fury as a Cat 4 right now and is expected to make landfall at some point here. So keep up with Jay Grimes, keep up with Dr. Steve Caparotta, Lester Duhey, and the crew over at WAFB. They're all on Twitter. They're all on social media. You can keep up with them there, and we will keep you up to the latest as well. But that plane ride is whack, bro. There's no way I could do that. I'm skeptical of flying to start off with.
Oh, your claustrophobia, dude.
Oh,
If that thing
bro.
starts, well, that's the only
mean-
thing. If it starts going like Danger Will Robinson in there, it's like, whoa, bro, I didn't sign up for. Oh, I guess I did sign up for this, but I guess, dude, if you see somebody and casually sipping coffee while he's just
I
riding,
guess I'm
through,
good.
Like,
I'm
all right,
good.
I'm good.
I'm
It's
good.
like,
I'm good.
yeah,
I'm good.
it's like when you're a
I'm
little
good.
kid in the back seat, and it's like we're driving through a storm. It's like your parents don't freak out, you won't freak out. Like when I went skydiving, the guys were literally drinking beer up there and like passing it around if you wanted one. I was like, well, if I'm going down, this is how I want to do it. But like their casualness made me not like get nervous or whatever at all. So that's like, I guess that would be the only really saving grace for me, is being like, bro, I have no idea what's going on up here. Like we're literally driving into a hurricane.
Yeah. We're going to talk to Brody Miller coming up here at 8 a.m. to talk more about LSU storylines. Noah is here. LSU basketball had their media day yesterday. The New Orleans Pelicans had their media day yesterday. You know, one thing that you look around and you discover when talking about the Pelicans, this will be quick. I'm not just going to stick on the Pelicans. I just want to say this real quick, is that, I mean, the NBA is crazy right now. I mean, like all the storylines around the NBA, a lot of them are teams aging, like the Lakers and LeBron. The Phoenix Suns stuff is crazy.
Wild.
With their owner, Robert Sarver. He's now going to sell, which is probably the most, I would say, attractive franchises in the league right now. I mean, that organization outside of the Lakers and the Knicks, I guess, because of just their market. But as far as a franchise that is relevant in a city and a place that feels like a destination, that feels like free agents pay attention to it. They've been to the NBA Finals the last couple of years. I mean, that thing's going to sell for $5 billion. I mean, it is going to set records of how much the Phoenix Suns are going to go for it. If you haven't kept up with it, Robert Sarver, their owner, just came out of a lengthy investigation by the NBA in which Adam Silver announced that he was suspending Sarver for 1 year and fining him $10 million, and then backlash totally fell and avalanched onto the NBA in the form of LeBron James speaking out, Steph Curry speaking out, all types of players speaking out about the penalties that were being handed down because Robert Sarver was running a workplace that was filled with racism, bigotry, misogyny, and it was happening over an 18-year period that it was investigated, and there were clear examples and people that had come out, blown the whistle, and it was just a bad deal.
I mean, he hit for the Triple Crown.
It was a bad deal. I mean, if you want to learn more about it, it is an easy find online. But I'm just saying that to say this, is that the storylines all over the NBA are, what's happening in Phoenix, what's going to happen in LA with Anthony Davis and LeBron James chasing the scoring title is kind of like the league, like what they're trying to, bill and market. But then, like you talk about the Pelicans, and everybody loves the Pelicans. Like everybody's high on the Pelicans.
And the Pelicans love the Pelicans, which is the most important
Well,
thing.
and the best part about the Pelicans also is that, I mean, this offseason, like I say, for everybody else, it was filled with confusion and people were, wondering what was going on in the NBA. At the Pelicans, I mean, like Zion resigned kind of, very easily. No drama. Back in the fold. You got one of the best young nucleuses coming back. Your coach is coming back for the second year in a row, and that means something around the Pelicans. I mean, they were rolling through coaches like they were rolling through free agency, the last couple of years. And now they feel stable. I mean, they feel like they could be a potential threat in the West, and it'll be fun to watch. And then, of course, here in Baton Rouge, Kim Mulkey and then Matt McMahon meet with both of the press. And I guess the storyline that's going to grow there is going to be from Kim Mulkey. And look, Kim Mulkey is a polarizing personality, right? Like, I got some feedback yesterday, like she owes the public an explanation on how she feels on that. Well, first off, she's already done it. She spoke on a podcast, and I want to make sure that we get this, but she spoke on a podcast and talked about the Brittany Griner situation. And she put something on record to how she feels about it. I think somebody tweeted it at me yesterday. I want to make sure that we get this right and source where she spoke on a podcast. And this was right around the time that I believe that it happened, right? And so she's got something on record to how she feels about and what her feelings are on what's going on and what happened to Brittany Griner. Yesterday, she was asked to comment on it, and I think, as I've said, she's already said what and how she feels on it. And from yesterday's standpoint, it was not about the team at LSU Basketball Media Day. It came from a reporter that was a first time in the room, and it was something that felt like it was trying to shock the room into an answer. And so, the way that she handles it is not going to be for everyone, but I also understand why she doesn't answer it in that setting when she already has addressed it, and there's nothing that is going to come out of that room that necessarily needs that to be said yesterday. It was all about LSU basketball. It was all about the upcoming season. It was all about the new faces that she was, building the team into. And, whether you agree or disagree on her form, I think that we'll always talk about that with Kim Mulkey because she's very intense and she's aggressive and she's in your face, and that's not for everyone. And, the beautiful thing about her, in my opinion, is that she didn't apologize for that, whether it's right or wrong. Sometimes she might step in it, but other times she kind of goes over the top of it because a lot of this stuff is very trivial. I'm not saying that the Brittany Griner situation falls into that, but I do understand that she's already said how she feels about it. You can go out there and find what she said on the record and understand that she does care. It's something that she's thought about, she thinks about, and she gave you her feelings on it. And for her yesterday to be pressed or, have reaction to how she reacts to that moment, I think gives you the definition of how polarizing she is. There's everything she does is going to, people are going to fall on one side of the line. She shouldn't have said that. I get why she said that. Remember the comment she made about the Jackson State head coach? There was a portion of the crowd that was pissed off at her for saying that. Then there was a portion of the crowd that was like, well, how doesn't that make sense? She's complimenting her. And I see both sides of it, but it's a polarizing personality on the end of it. And, we all know polarizing people that there's not a lot of gray. You fall on one side of the line. I hate that guy. I love that guy. I can't believe she said that. I believe in what she said. It's very two-sided. And I think Kim Mulkey she's that personality now. And she's that personality because she's outspoken. And she doesn't bite her tongue. And sometimes that gets her in trouble. Sometimes that causes a reaction that she has to deal with. But in my opinion, the best part about her is that she doesn't run from anything. She doesn't apologize for anything unless she feels like she needs to. But in my trade, in our industry, she's fantastic because she tells you how she feels. And that's what I think you want as the consumer, or at least it feels like that's what the fans want to hear is, tell us the truth. Tell us how you feel. Tell us about your team. Tell us what's going on. If we ask you something personal, how you feel, if you want to tell us, let us know. If not, fire back like you did yesterday, and at least you know who Kim Mulkey is. Right? I don't think there's any surprises. So for the people that were shocked at her reaction yesterday, I don't think that you know the subject. I mean, she's been handling her business like this for 20 plus years. It's not going to change anytime soon, and she's not going to apologize for it. And that's what I love about her. You know, I mean, all that comes with the winning and the personality and the flair and, you know, the sound bites and the personality. All of that comes with it. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I just appreciate that she tells you how she feels.
I'm sure Dawn Staley will do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's...
Well, she just always seems to try to find a way to capitalize on any time Kim's in the media because I feel like she's threatened by Kim kind of taking the reins over in the SEC. So she's going to try to find some way to spin this in a recruiting fashion, I'd imagine.
Sure. You know, and look, I think that Kim Mulkey's probably used that to her advantage in some senses. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back, and we'll get back into it. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Each day, remember, they're always online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Great inventory there. Brand new car lot out in LaPlace. Used car lot over here in Baton Rouge at Go Express Auto Sales. Go see Nick Richard and our crew over at Go Express Auto Sales here in Baton Rouge and Go Chevrolet online. We'll be right back here at the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com.
Different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier, Kyron Lacey,
Greg Brooks. Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team. Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
Best athlete.
Hey, Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
We've seen the BK takeover stuff from LSU and social media, and really in his short time in Baton Rouge, there's been a lot of people embracing his approach to building this roster. What's it like to recruit alongside him?
Oh, it's been great. Coach has been awesome to me because he lets me be myself when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to coaching. He lets his coaches coach, lets his coaches recruit. So I have no complaints on that end. And when I need him to get in touch with a kid, he's there for me. The communication line has been great. He's just been nothing but supportive.
We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. All right, hit that like button, share button, comment button. Taking your voicemails, taking your phone calls, taking your mailbag questions today here on the Culotta Show. Remember, as each day we are brought to you by Go Chevrolet. Check them out online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. We're also brought to you by Hudco Roofing. We know the storm is going through Central Florida, as we talked about. But if you are in the listening area and you need some roofing done, then do business with people that you know. Get in touch with Hudco Roofing. Online, HudcoRoofing.com. You can click there to get a free estimate if you want. You can easily get in touch with Ryan Terrio, Richard Tilley, and the entire crew over there. Make sure and tell them that you heard it here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Look, let this be a sign for you, or let this be a piece of awareness for you to get prepared for storm season. Let Hudco come out and inspect your roof today. Free inspections, HudcoRoofing.com, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with people that you know. HudcoRoofing.com. Mention that you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We're going to talk to Brody Miller coming up here at 7:30 at 8 a.m. this morning, and we'll ask him about some of the storylines going into LSU Auburn. We'll ask him some about this LSU offense as they continue to gain confidence in this LSU defense that's fastly becoming a storyline of the league. I mean, there are a lot of people that are taking notice about what Matt House and this LSU defense is doing. I love the way that they're managing their personnel. I love giving B.J. Ojulari every week off that you can. There's no reason for him to play against Southern. There's absolutely no reason for him to go against New Mexico. I mean, keep that guy as healthy as possible, or at least as juiced up as possible for the next 5 weeks, because you got to have him playing at a first-round pick, potential top 10 pick level.
Is this like load management, or is he nicked up?
No, I think he got a little banged up in against Florida State, but nothing that would keep him off the field if Auburn was last weekend. But the luxury of the schedule kind of lined up to give LSU, a potential open date for guys like BJ in week 2 and in week 4, both after very physical, demanding games, right? Florida State and Mississippi State, and then gives you a little bit of more time on the shelf to get prepared for the next 5 weeks. Ultimately, this is what LSU has to navigate to really dictate what their next step is going to be from a program standpoint. Do I believe that LSU is going to make it to the Final Four this season? I do not. Do I think that they're going to the SEC Western if they're going to be representing the SEC West in the championship game in Atlanta. It would surprise me if they do, but the more and more that the season moves on, the West does feel like it's a little bit more open than it felt a couple of weeks back. I mean, look, I'm still voting on Alabama, and I would still be surprised if they're not the team. But they do look like they're a little vulnerable. And defense travels. It's one thing about defense in any sport. Anywhere you go, if you got a good defensive team, that's why when we posed the question a couple of weeks back when could you get the 2011 defense or the 2019 offense if that was your identity of your team, right? It's easy. I get it. You know what I mean? You're magnetized to Jamar Chase. You're sucked in by Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You can't get enough of Joey B. Right? I mean, like, how much more can you watch of highlights of Jamar Chase before you just say, all right, that's enough. Give me the offense. But you forget about when you've got a defense, not that you forgot. Don't let me claim that you forgot. I mean, it's tough to forget how good LSU was for such a really dominant. From 03 to 11, the identity of the program was dominant defense. Strangle you defense. Break your will defense. Georgia type defense of what they're running right now, where it just looks like, man, we can play this game all day long, and they're not going to be able to do anything. The defensive backs are too fast, too skilled that they can cover all day, and the front four and front seven's just too nasty that you can't block them. And then they come at you in waves. They got this depth that, third, fourth quarter, you're hitting on and grabbing onto new people who are just as good as the guy that were here in the first and second quarter. I mean, it feels like LSU's defense is kind of tracking in a way that they have this potential of being something that you can kind of game plan to play keep away. Keep that defense just strangling people all day, score 17, 24, 28 points, and see what happens. Right? I mean, like, it feels like they're going to – I already see Harold Perkins on a scoop and score, pick six. Don't you? I mean, they're going to start scoring. I see B.J. Ojolari on a sack fumble and somebody running in, and it's Greg Brooks scooping it up and scoring. I see Jay Ward on a pick six. I see Seven Banks getting healthy and starting to make plays. I mean, they got playmakers. They got guys that can change the scoreboard, that can score. That travels. That'll go to Gainesville. I mean, that'll travel to some of these big road games that'll be coming up here over the next couple of weeks. I think that, the more and more this season rolls on, and we'll see more of Bama, and they're going to look, as Bama does at times. But when you look out there and you see, man, they don't have a lot of playmakers. They don't have a lot of dudes that really, one catch scoreboard change. They don't have what Brian Thomas looked like Saturday night. They don't feel like what Kayshawn could be once he catches his footing back. Right? I mean, LSU's got guys that, for better or for worse, their offense is a little clunky right now, but they still could throw it up and break one real quick. And then you put that defense on the field, and they're gaining confidence, and they're tracking in a direction of – that's why I'm saying you catch Auburn at a perfect time. You know what I mean? Like, start the freshman. He's going to be good, but – he ain't good yet. And, meet B.J. Ojolari all day in the backfield. I mean, Harold Perkins, go eat on a true freshman. Uncage these cats and let them roll on Saturday and let them leave Jordan Hare going into October thinking like they're the best defense in the country. Thinking like they're all number one picks. Thinking like there's nobody out there that can score on them. Even Hendon Hooker in Tennessee that's coming into town averaging 50 a game. You know what I mean? Like, go get your confidence right on Saturday and beat the ever-living hell out of Auburn.
Right?
Like it's easy to say that out loud. This game is always close. This game always crazy things happen. But I believe that Auburn's in such a space where they might be like checked out. You know, like you jump on them early, you get a play like that where, you know, I mean, BJ just crushes Ashford from the blind side, and Perkins scoops it up and scores from 45 yards out, and everybody starts leaving the stadium. Offense makes a couple of plays. Next thing you know, back-to-back week shutouts, something like that. Get your confidence really right heading into October. Next thing you know, LSU looks up there in the driver's seat. In a season where Brian Kelly had very, very little expectation, and he's, you know, building the foundation and the base of a championship level program. It's best case scenario. I mean, I'm painting with a very rose-colored brush right now, but I see it. You know what I mean? I feel it. This LSU defense to me feels retro. It feels like you can take it on the road and unleash it, and let's play. Let's see.
And doesn't it feel like this game's going to be kind of played in a phone booth because of the weather? I think the wind's going to be up to 30 miles an hour throughout from Friday into Saturday. I don't know what it's going to be like at actual game time. We'll find out at some point. But it's going to be like a nasty day. It's going to be 2 to 4 inches of rain. I saw this on the, you know, like the weather report or whatever. I found it on Twitter. So I guess that plays to LSU's strength, right? Because Ashford's not going to be able to throw it anyway, so you know he's going to have to run it. You just bring everybody down in the box, and LSU defense is better than Auburn is on offense. And LSU's run game is tracking. You get Jaden Daniels kind of going a little bit. I trust him more to make, hit
that's the one thing.
throws.
That's the one thing that concerns me along the next couple of games is keeping Daniels healthy. Because if LSU's going to catch some life here, and, you know, really start to make some noise, a quarterback change in the middle of October, to me, is not the formula, right? Because they're starting to figure it out.
Right.
They're starting to get the chemistry. You know, I see, you know, Jack Besh is great for something like that. You saw last week. I mean, just put it in his radius, and he's going to grab it. He's going to catch it. That pumps the quarterback up. You know, it does well for his confidence. You know, stay in front of the numbers. Stay, you know, from 1st and 10, play 2nd and 7, 3rd and 4, 1st and 10, 2nd and 8, you know, 3rd and 6, 1st and 10. You know what I mean? Just keep that thing moving and tracking and playing with confidence. And, you know, I think that LSU has a real opportunity here that the league feels as it's not as strangled as it felt a couple of weeks ago. I mean, at SEC Media Days, it was foregone conclusion. It was Alabama and Georgia. I still feel like it's Georgia and Alabama. I really do. But I feel as if the West is a little bit more open than it once felt like a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago or just, you know, over the first month of the season.
Definitely before the A&M Arkansas game. I mean, because you think that A&M's kind of backpedaling and Arkansas is a top 10 team, and then they go out there and, I mean, neither of them really looks impressive, and A&M pulls out the win. So, I mean, that shows 2 more teams after Alabama that you thought were going to be better than LSU that might not be.
What the hell, Katie? But that's why that Florida State loss kind of stings so much, because if you're able to get out of there with a win, and the way that everything this has been a chaotic football season in college, whether it be A&M falling, Notre Dame falling, a lot of the top who lost last week. There's another top 10 team that went down. I can think of it, but
I think Oklahoma lost.
Oklahoma lost,
Kansas State,
and that just kind of went off my radar. But all of these teams are falling around you. It feels a lot like the 2007 year, where LSU was able to kind of backdoor. I know LSU isn't that good this year,
right.
But if you're able to just hang around and watch all the dominoes fall around you and just be kind of hell, we're one of the, we're a top 10 team,
right?
And then you get, that's how you build momentum going into next year. Because I don't think LSU is built to make a playoff run.
Well, I don't know if they don't have the depth,
right? Well,
but they're they're well coached.
Right.
You know, like that's the part that people around the league have to be looking at LSU and saying, you know, behind closed doors of they're disciplined. They're well coached. You can see it going and trending in that direction. And when you look at what they're doing in recruiting and you see what they're squeezing out of the players that they have right now, not to say that this is some, you know, depleted roster. They've got talented guys on this roster, but they're maximizing what they're getting.
And that's coaching.
Those guys. It absolutely is coaching. It absolutely is coaching. I mean, it's
because you don't see any drop off whenever if you watch like the entire New Mexico game. Like there's no drop off in the third and fourth quarter where, you know, those aren't starters that are in there. They're trying to get some backup guys in, but they still play the same scheme and are still just as disciplined as the starters are. Like that's whenever you start to see like whatever they're preaching, they're practicing. Like Matt House has gotten through to that defense, and it's funny to say because we've been so adamant about LSU finding an offense, and we didn't really talk about the defense or finding a quarterback. And so now it kind of reverts back. Everything kind of comes full circle where is LSU a defensive school? And it feels like if you're an LSU fan, this feels more familiar.
No. Absolutely. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by our friends over at Edward Jones. Edward Jones is helping you out with financial advice. Get in touch with Daniel Newman, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Located in Central, out there at Market Square Drive. You can find Daniel located right across from Stabs in Central Louisiana. Stop in today and ask him how he can help you out financially, whether it is physical advice on investments, or whether you were just looking on some strategy and you're working with the plants, you work in the industrial space. Daniel's got great experience there. Daniel.Newman@EdwardJones.com. Daniel.Newman@EdwardJones.com. The Carpool Queen is here. She will slide onto the set, and we'll talk to Brody Miller from The Athletic next year and continue our discussion on LSU Auburn, getting set for an SEC football weekend as it'll get kicked off tomorrow night with Cincinnati and Miami on Thursday night. Some NFL action. Going to be cool to see Joey B and the crew playing in a big game. Miami just left their guts on the field playing Buffalo, so I don't know about this quick turnaround how Miami is going to look on Thursday night. But on paper,
good point.
it's a great matchup. You see the top right of your screen, the QR code for our friends over at Caesars Sportsbook. If you use the promo code FMFULL, the letter F, the letter M, full, you can save up to $1,250 risk-free in betting with our friends from Caesars Sportsbook. Carpool Queen here next. Hour 2, Brody Miller leading you off. Go Chevrolet. Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs
take care of yourself. Go to a doctor. Don't get other people's.
Provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Our friend Cody Boudreaux with a $10 super chat. Congrats to our very own Katie, the lady from Jordy Show, for making the OT with her FBI tip-off. Got us thinking over here and got us lurking on the on Tiger Droppings.
The OT.
We searched over to OT to find a 5-page thread.
Oh.
A 5-page thread titled "Lady on Culotta Show said reputable person told her that the FBI thinks Baton Rouge is a serial killer."
Oh my God, my friend is gonna kill me. But that's true.
Okay, hold your sources. We've got to get to Brody Miller. Brody Miller from The Athletic. We're going to get back to this topic.
Brody's your source. Here he is. To talk more on the subject.
Brody, who is routinely a topic of conversation on Tiger Droppings, joins us here on this Wednesday morning. Brody with the fresh shave, looking good on this Wednesday, my boy. How are you?
I am doing well. Yeah, I wish it was a mustache, but mistakes have been made, and we've talked about this. Yeah.
Storylines this week. Another one. LSU traveling for the first time in the SEC with Brian Kelly. What are we watching here on Wednesday, Brody, as we get into game week?
Yeah, I think the biggest news, and reporting this now, is that LSU starting guard Garrett Dellinger did injure his hand this past week and will, it appears, miss LSU's game against Auburn. There is hope we'll be back for Tennessee. That's a good sign. Obviously, LSU is a solid favorite against Auburn, and LSU does at least have some options at guard, whether it be Anthony Bradford, a guy who started a bunch. They do like Xavier Hill. They have a few options. But yeah, I'd say the main thing right now is Garrett Dellinger is likely to miss this game.
Wow, that's big news. So Brody Miller right here from The Athletic saying here this morning, Garrett Dellinger going to miss this weekend, expected to be back versus Tennessee. You mentioned a couple of names. This depth of this offensive line has been tested early this season. Who do you expect here? I know you mentioned Bradford. We've heard Xavier Hill name mentioned a couple of times. I have been surprised that they have not gotten him more run just by what I have heard from him, from people talking out of the program. Where do you stand there?
Yeah, because Xavier Hill's a guy who in the spring really wowed me. But I'll also preface that with, and I'm just speculating at this point, but I will preface that with he was the kind of guy who would look amazing in a one-on-one against really good linemen, right? Like Mason Smith, and that's something. That's talent right there. But I'm not sure, I guess, where they're at overall with him. It's just a day-to-day guy you trust and all that. But I don't know. I think Xavier Hill clearly would be the next guy up if it's theoretically not Bradford. Bradford still did rotate in Saturday against New Mexico, which shows they're not out on him, but still he has missed time and whatnot. But my gut says Bradford just because of the experience, the reliability, but at the same time, Xavier Hill is a really exciting talent who absolutely could get a lot of time Saturday.
Your latest piece on John Emery is a great read, and Emery, of course, missing the last 2 years of football and getting back into it. Brody, what did you learn in writing this piece on LSU senior running back?
Yeah, I think so much of it is just, I mean, a lot of it's been documented, right? A lot of it is, but it's just, I think people almost, it's easy to forget just how many things have compiled. It's like, okay, you focus on the academics. Well, so much of the academics were related to the, just the insane hardship in his life. His stepfather being hospitalized. I mean, his stepfather's still in and out of the hospital 2.5 years later. His grandmother dying, his sister's on a lung transplant list. I mean, it kind of keeps going and going, and it's kind of easy to like focus on one and forget the others. And I think what stood out to me talking to people about this was because I think you and I know and have kind of alluded to it, even the story doesn't really go into it, but Emery didn't, not everybody exactly had Emery's back, throughout this whole situation. There were some things that were, I think, mishandled is the safest way I'll put that weren't necessarily all his fault. And I think what stood out is just hearing people talk about, he still insisted on, I'm going to take accountability for this. Every interview, it was still, I messed up. I need to do this differently. And I know his mother was almost like frustrated hearing, she respected that, but almost like, come on, like, this isn't all on you. And I think that just kind of shows how he wanted to go about this and also the accountability and change that you've seen in him the last few years that, his dad talked about. He was this uber talented 5-star 18-year-old who, probably to some extent thought things would just go easily because he was so talented. And I think that's the maturation you're seeing, that accountability.
What about that running back room? It looked like up until last week they were trying to make Armani Goodwin the primary guy. What's the latest on? He left that game against New Mexico, and what are you hearing on the latest rotation there?
Yeah. I think with Goodwin, it's a hamstring thing, which those are just tricky to really like project and exactly. But Kelly did say it's day to day, which is a very good sign because that tells you that it's more of a short term thing. But yeah. It's a good cough right there by our driveway.
Sorry, Brody.
Good Lord.
Don't say sorry to me. I'm worried about my guy.
Not. I mean, good. I'm saying sorry to the audience. Jesus.
I turned my microphone off. I'm sorry.
Sorry to the doctor, whoever finally sees this guy.
Maybe it's my fault for addressing it, but it's Lloyd, so why not?
I'm sorry to the mortician that has to stuff this guy. He's dead.
Anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, so I think that's a good sign because, hamstring, you never know. It could be a few days, could be 2 weeks, who knows. But that's a good sign. Yeah, he has looked like, in a lot of ways, he's looked like the best back. I mean, he is a just explosive, special guy. I think there's always a little bit of, and running back's always so hard to talk about because there's a little bit of like, who can you trust on down to pass protect? Those little things that we're missing that I don't think they fully give Goodwin the complete job. But I do think, right now, it's no exaggeration, 4 guys. Kane is clearly the guy they go to in those short yardage kind of situations. But then he also showed he could break that 50-yard touchdown run, which I think was probably good for his stock. And then, Emery is obviously getting around 10, plus touches a game. And he's still easing back into it. And his stats aren't great, but I think it's a little misleading because he does have, like 1 or 2 plays where it's like, okay, he adds something no one else quite has. And judging LSU's rushing stats are always misleading because there aren't exactly great holes there. And then, I even mentioned Josh Williams, who has been sneaky one of the most productive players, important players. His blocking is essential, but he's a really good receiver. And he's just been they're not just giving him garbage time anymore. He's getting real every game playing time. So, man, they're in a better situation than I probably even thought they'd be at running back.
What is the effect that Jack Besh has being back included into the mix, both special teams and on offense?
Yeah, it's like one of those things where I'm talking out of my behind because it's like I don't know how to better explain it than like there's something about on like a 3rd down he just has like a body that knows how to get leverage and get open. It's just like it's like 3rd and 6, and it's like maybe he's not even exactly open, but he's just such a big possession guy. You can just hit him on a little slant, and he'll just kind of figure out how to get enough opening to get the first. It's so ignorant, but it's true. I mean, Max Johnson always went to him on 3rd down, and you're seeing it even in one game. He just has that ability. But I think with that punt return even shows you he is more. And we've talked about this, and I even wrote about it before he came to LSU. Like, he is a great athlete. Like, because he's so big. And I know there's always the whole sneaky athletic thing that I'll leave at that. But, I think people don't think he's that good of an athlete. But that punt return showed how explosive and nimble he is. I mean, he is a great athlete. So, no, I think he adds a reliability is the best way to put it. A guy you just know you can throw the ball to and trust, on top of your neighbors making a big play, or Thomas making a big play, and of course Keyshawn Booton. So yeah, man, Besh back. I mean, it just adds probably efficiency and trust more than anything.
We were talking earlier before you came on about this defense, and it feels like the country is starting to recognize this deep, or at least regionally, people in the SEC part of college football demographic is speaking about LSU's defense on how they could be a real threat. What do you make of the ceiling of this defense? They get Joe Fuchsia back to action on Saturday, and then they get B.J. Ojulari seemingly back into play on Saturday. What are you feeling now seeing them for a month?
Yeah, I think when Mason Smith went down, I kind of was like, all right, it's going to be a good D. It's going to be solid, but like, okay, that ceiling might be lower. And I think through the last 3 weeks, I'm like, no, I don't know if that's fair. I'm sure they'd be better with Mason Smith, but this has a chance to be a genuinely top 3 or 4 in the SEC defense. I mean, because they are so much more well-rounded than I think I expected them to be, where we all talk so much about corner, and I maybe more than anyone about corner was going to be a mess, and I'm just kind of wrong right now. And we haven't seen them face like the one-on-ones, receivers that are, Tennessee will be, I think, the first test where we really can judge this defense and really judge that corner room. But, man, credit where it's due. You're not seeing really any of those day-to-day mistakes that you expect. Your guys just getting beat. But also I give so much credit to Matt House and what he's doing, the shuffling of those guys in the secondary, moving, Bernard Converse one day and then, moving, Brooks and Ward back and forth. Now Fouché's back, like you said. It's a really good sign for them that he's such a good communicator. He's able to make all that work. And then I haven't even mentioned the D-line, which is the actual strength. I mean, it's not even just the sacks we see from Ojulari and all this. It's just no holes are allowed in the run game. The D tackles, Wingo, Roy, Guillory are dominating. They are a stout defense that isn't having huge holes, and that's all you can say. But I really can't wait to see him against Tennessee. Then we'll really know.
We have seen dominant freshmen in this program. You have covered them, whether it has been Fournette, whether it has been Derek Stingley. You have seen them. How good is Perkins?
Yeah, God, I mean, I don't want to think Stingley's probably the best freshman I've seen, right? Is that fair? But I mean, Perkins is in that class. I'm trying to think of some others that are obvious, but man, Perkins is absolutely.
Matthew was a great freshman.
Yeah, before my time, so I didn't want to pretend I knew. But Matthew's a great call. I mean, obviously Fournette, but man, it's shot. I think Kelly gave a really good and insightful answer about, hey man, he is a freshman. They are giving him just kind of pieces and letting him then play free and letting him then be just the athletic guy he is, because they're not asking him to do everything. That's great coaching. I think that's what you and I even talked about before the Mississippi State game, a little bit of like, he's not like ready to be the guy, but you want his just athleticism. So give him those simpler roles and just let him do things. But man, we heard from Matt House on your show back in the spring or summer about like, he wants to be coach. He's in the film room. Like you think when you have a top 10 recruit like that like, oh, it's going to be, he's not going to think like that. And he does. And he is that kind of thinker. Kelly talks about how coachable he is. So for him to be able to go outside linebacker, inside linebacker, be both good pass rushing and in pass coverage, I just think that's rare on top of the athleticism. So yeah, man, come year 2, that guy should be one of the best linebackers in the country. And this year he's already a game changer.
Football is a game of breaks. You got to catch some to have a good season. And I think LSU catches a break on the timing that they go to Jordan-Hare, that they get Auburn. What have you learned about Auburn this week in what LSU is taking on Saturday?
I mean, is it fair to just talk bluntly that they are a mess? I mean, that is fair. I mean, obviously Brian Harsin probably only has a few weeks to go. I think the thing that you have to be scared of is they do have a good pass rush. That is something that, especially with, obviously Dellinger out, that's going to be tested a bit, with going to test these freshman tackles a bit. So the pass rush can get after people. They do, Owen Papo is a great linebacker as well. He can do some things, but they're just not that much of a real threat in a lot of other ways. The offense is a mess, and they feel so reactionary to some extent. It's like, okay, Penn State game, they don't give Tank Bigsby the ball much at all, and everyone's like, what are you doing? And then that's obviously a mess. That's your best player. He's a special. the bummer of all this is Tank Bigsby, it might be the best running back in the country. Like, that's not crazy to say, and he's mishandled beyond belief. So then all of a sudden, like, the next game, they overgive him the ball, and, like, in situations where you shouldn't be, and you should be getting a little more balanced and creative, and it just shows the staff doesn't really seem to have a plan. And obviously the quarterback situation, whether it's Finley or Ashford, they're just getting no production there in a sustainable way. So, yeah, man, I mean, Auburn is – obviously they're Auburn. They're tough. They have SEC bodies. You know, you can't write them off. This rivalry, as you know, nonsense happens. But just from a football point of view, they are a mess of a team, and LSU should be a touchdown favorite that they are.
What's the health of Daniels? What's the latest on him after Saturday? It seemed like Brian Kelly said he could come back, but what do you expect from that position on Saturday?
Yeah, I think it was promising that Kelly said there were no lingering effects, and basically implying he is essentially, you know, back to himself. I wouldn't be surprised if just a little bit of timidness, a little bit of maybe not wanting to take off running, and a little bit of them not wanting him to run as much. And maybe this is a game where he can maybe prove himself a bit as a passer. But at the same time, I look at the fact that he immediately, about the second he got out of that tent, was on the sideline asking to go back in. I mean, you could see it. He was like, let's go, put me back in. And he had to be kind of told no, which kind of alleviates that concern maybe that he's going to be like timid or like, you know, he wants to just get back out there. So I think he's obviously going to play. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And I don't really think it's going to affect him too much. That's a good sign.
What do you expect from Kayshawn on Saturday?
I think I'm officially reaching the point that I'm tampering down a little bit of the Kayshawn Bootsy just expectation. I mean, he's still the best receiver probably, or at least one of the two best, still one of the best receivers in the SEC. But I am just tampering down the expectation that he's going to have like a Blitnikoff year, that he should go get 200 yards against Auburn, you know, just because. And by the way, I don't think that's all on him. Some of it is like offense could get him better used, absolutely. Two, LSU's so set at receiver, you don't want to like build your offense around one receiver. And also, there's a little element of like maybe what Jaden Daniels does well and how that offense is just going to look when you don't have Nussmeier quarterback. You have Daniels. Yeah, I mean, Daniels maybe isn't the kind of passer that's conducive to just getting like a ton of one-on-ones and dominating with Kayshawn Booty. I mean, that's an unfortunate reality, I think, to some extent. So, yeah, I think Kayshawn Booty's going to play well. I think he's going to have a good year. I just don't know if he's going to have the special.
Brody, great work on the Dellinger stuff this morning. We will continue to read your work over at The Athletic and keep up with you on Twitter at Brody A. Miller for the latest on LSU football. Thank you, as always, for stopping in this week.
You're the best, man. I appreciate it as always. And hey, Lloyd, take care of yourself.
Well, I will. I have some questions, and I'll get them next week.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Can't talk.
I'm
for God's
fine.
sakes. Thank you,
This
Brody.
means I'm getting better.
Brody Miller from The Athletic. Get your subscription and follow the man on Twitter to keep up with the latest. As that's big news. That is breaking news there from Brody on Garrett Dellinger, who it was announced, as Miller just announced here, that starting offensive guard Garrett Dellinger has injured his hand against New Mexico and will miss this Saturday's game against Auburn. Next up has to be Anthony Bradford. And then, look, we've been banging the drum on Xavier Hill for a couple of weeks here, and I have been surprised more than anyone that he has not gotten more reps. He played some reps late into that game against New Mexico. Obviously, the offensive line stayed fully intact against Mississippi State the week before when Hill was eligible to get onto the field. Now with the injury to Dellinger, what could be next there at that guard spot? Feels like Bradford, but wonder if Hill may get some run too, as this offensive line just can't stay stable.
They finally found some consistency.
They just can't stay. They can't stay intact. Which that's a group that you really want to play together as much as possible. So.
And didn't they just have their first game with back-to-back starters playing together, and now you get this? Yeah. That's unfortunate.
All right, we'll be back here and catch up. We got mailbag, we got voicemail. We'll read the text. We've got a OT Lounge superstar amongst us.
Unbelievable.
Who is breaking news here in the Baton Rouge area about serial killers due to her Housewives Club
they
that
only
she
know
is breaking news from.
You're their perfect target.
It wasn't from a housewives club. It was
it's
from a
true
reputable person. So,
wow, we've now got a thread. We've now got a thread on the Tiger Rant and OT Lounge. We are Tiger dropping superstars. Wow, the OT Lounge back up at the top.
It is.
Just got back to the first page.
Tell me why.
Lady
this is
on
a big
Culotta
deal.
show said reputable person told her that the FBI thinks that Baton Rouge has a serial killer. 5-page thread. I'm just going to play thread roulette here. I'm going to shuffle it around, and I'm going to land on no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Page number 4. Let's just read from here a couple of bites here on what they're saying about the lady on the Culotta show who said that her friends
I have a name.
told her that
No, your name got featured on here as well, first and last.
Yeah,
Ooh,
they
first and
doxed you.
Golly.
What does it say? What's the worst one?
They pulled up that picture of you and Jack together at your Britney Spears party.
Oh God.
Wow, picture?
Yeah.
Eesh.
Can someone in the room explain to me why this is a big deal?
It's just,
Like,
it's
why
just
can't I
funny that
say
it's-
something I heard around town about like a
Oh, well, it's not a big
serial
deal. I
Oh,
mean, it's
it's
just
not a big deal.
It's funny that
it's just a
five-
collection of mouth breathers
it's
sitting
five
around
I
their
know,
pages.
computer
but
typing and
why?
hacking
Like,
away at
why
you.
is it even like a thread though? That's so confusing to me. Like,
Well, I mean,
tell me if I'm missing
look-
something here. Tell me.
Look how many threads there are. You know, I mean, there's pages. I'm looking at there's 5 plus pages at
Okay,
least
just read
that
the
probably
worst
go on.
comment. Just freaking get it over with and read the worst
I
comment.
mean, it's gonna take some.
It's gonna take some digging.
And there's a lot of bad
I mean,
comments.
No, there's
that's
5 pages.
We have to read all of them.
I mean, we can.
Katie seems like a nice girl, but she's the embodiment of every rich BR housewife.
That might be the
I'm
winner.
not a housewife though. I have a full fucking.
Oh, here we
job.
go.
Hey,
Hey,
Wait, what time is it? What time is it?
8:23. I'm
Easy,
sorry, but
easy,
like, don't
easy.
call me that.
How about Jake88, a George Mason fan, said yesterday at 11:30 p.m. I feel like she wouldn't just make this up out of thin air.
There you go.
I did it.
Got to support her.
I didn't make it up out of thin air. It didn't come from
Gotta
another
support her.
housewife
You got a
either.
simp.
Got to support her.
Jeez.
She's not gonna fuck you, bro.
I might if you get me removed
Yeah.
from Tiger
Yeah.
Dogs. Is that what it takes?
Yeah.
What else? What else?
Let's see here. A lot of this stuff is just banging on BRPD.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not trying to bang on BRPD either, honestly.
No, keep me safe.
Not trying to bang on. Oh, there's the picture. Why is it so big on your screen over there?
I love that they posted that. That is, they posted it all zoomed
Who
in.
posted that?
Your biggest fan. Brody Bird, 05.
Look at old Jack.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Jackie.
Hey.
Great costume that night, Katie.
Thank you. It was Britney Spears.
Yeah. That's,
Just a little more covered up than
somebody.
Britney Spears.
Yeah, somebody probably beat it to this.
Oh God! Stop.
I mean, I'm just letting you know.
Stop.
It got 22 likes.
Okay.
Oh,
great.
23.
Woo!
Yeah, that's good.
I don't think that's good.
And then somebody posted underneath it, damn, sluts.
The lady Katie, who her and her husband pays for the show.
What the hell? Like, where does that come from?
That's the best one.
I mean, my husband barely watches the show. He doesn't
Yeah,
have
right.
time. He has
Our
his
meal
own
ticket,
job.
Katie.
Is this the woman who sits on the couch, provides nothing, and it's just there so horny nerds will watch the show and jack off? And then
This guy's talking about his personal experience.
It's the only reason I watch it.
Maybe I'll type this out there and they'll never expect it's me.
Maybe somebody will do it.
We haven't had a couch in like a year, so.
somebody put underneath
The blue
it-
couch.
Somebody put underneath it. Well, she just broke the BR serial killer news.
There you go. That's what I'm providing. Nothing more, though.
Oh my god, I love it here.
I love it, dude. It's so good. Lady on the Culotta
The
show.
lady on the canal. At least they're calling me a lady.
Said a reputable person told her the FBI thinks BR has a serial killer is the name of the thread. That is so good.
I mean,
That is
That's
so
an all-timer.
good.
I don't hope there's a serial killer. But
Reputable
I do
and tiger
now.
droppings in the same sentence have never existed, right?
I hope there is a serial killer now.
All-time title.
So good.
I mean, life should get better than this.
Have a take, don't suck. Our voicemail is open. Our phone lines are open. 225-229-7741. 225-229-7741 is the phone number. Let us know where you're calling from. Speaking of activism, has anybody seen the press conference down in New Orleans that has been put together? First off, the name of the organization, I want to make sure and get this right.
Is this a crime-related press conference? So
They
I
are-
need to start
they-
any rumors about it? What's the FBI doing?
They are trying to recall LaToya down in New Orleans. and they are going to make this happen. And I'm telling you, like this lady, look up the press conference that Eileen Carter had yesterday.
Who's Eileen Carter?
Eileen Carter is she's a radio show host down in in New Orleans. She's also like a media manager. She like does like agency stuff like down there. I mean, you can tell she's a networker.
Yeah.
She knows a lot of people.
What we do and what David pays for us to
That's
do.
exactly right.
Lady on Culotta show.
So funny.
For the show.
But the press conference yesterday in New Orleans, they on LaToya's ass.
Oh, I bet.
They are on her ass, and the name of the organization is No LaToya, but the logo is NOLA, like NOLA.
That's cool, yeah.
LaToya.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, they're handing out the T-shirts. They're having recall parties. She got out in front of the microphone yesterday, and I'm telling you, there's a cluster of microphones in front of her from every television station in New Orleans. Radio stations are there, and she's on a crusade. I've put in a request to have her on the show.
No, you didn't.
Yes, because I want to find the Eileen Carter of Baton Rouge to get these people that are stealing from Baton Rouge out of City Hall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's time.
Yeah.
It is time to drain the swamp.
Yeah.
I mean, literally in South Louisiana. I can't speak for what's happening in the rest of the state, but the politics in New Orleans and Baton Rouge are screwed.
Well, it's corrupt.
They
so it
are whack, and it's so corrupt. But the corruption is now leading into just incompetency at a level that we've never seen, that I've never seen. I mean, I've cared about leadership and politics in my city now for about 15 years, right? Like being an adult, like paying attention to it and urging and wanting it to be better. And now is as worse as I've ever seen. The corruption, the mismanagement, the just lack of concern. I mean, like there's no real threat of finding any change. You know, I mean, people are getting killed in the streets. People are scared to walk out of their home, and nobody in a leadership role will address it with any sincerity. And it's just, above all else, it feels inhumane. Like, forget politics. And that's what Eileen Carter yesterday, if you've not seen this press conference, I would urge you to. It's easy, very easy to find. I mean, like, all of the television outlets in New Orleans have it. I watched it 3 times in my office yesterday, and on the second time, I mean, like, I'd slid up in her DMs on Instagram, and I'm like, you got to come on the show.
No way she's responding to you.
I mean, I don't know why she wouldn't want as many platforms as she could find at this point to scream her message from the mountaintops.
Our chat will rip her
Sweet.
apart.
Cool. I mean,
take my place on the OT.
my intent
you should
is
be
I want to smoke out the Eileen Carter of Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we need more of these people to call and hold these people accountable.
Well, did you say LaToya responded
yesterday?
So
well,
that
that is what shows me that she's creating, like, she's causing some friction. Is
totally.
that she's got her working.
Yeah.
You know, she's got her up there moving around. I mean, nothing came from LaToya. I mean, it was all pointing fingers of how it wasn't her. It's never her fault. You know what I mean? It's always somebody else's fault. It's not her fault that she paid for first class tickets, that you can't, you know what I mean? Like, it's just the incompetency is crazy. But these people.
I don't, by the way. Damn it.
At least you don't do it on the state's dime.
Exactly.
And then not pay it back.
Exactly.
Which, that's the only thing I know about politics, but that's awesome if you can get away with it. I want to be a politician.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
But, I mean, how anybody could defend the political leadership in Baton Rouge and New Orleans right now, it's just...
I don't know of anyone defending it.
Mind-blowing.
I mean,
it's
are there people defending it?
I mean, I'm sure there are, just because politics breathes and lives like that. But, I mean, this is non-political.
But, you can't live here and defend
politics.
what's happening.
You can't go out of your home.
No.
You can't sit in your car.
No.
You know what I mean, like, you can't drive down the interstate in New Orleans.
No.
I mean, they're killing people just driving down the interstate.
That damn serial killer's killing everybody.
Phone lines are open. I don't mean to make it political. I want Eileen Carter to come on the show,
Is
though.
the phone working? A couple of people are saying they couldn't leave a voicemail, maybe.
Is it on?
It's on. It's charging.
Nobody's calling?
Hold on. Maybe our voicemail is full.
Oh, wow.
We have 14. That wouldn't be full, huh? 14.
No. I mean, unless somebody talked for like 20 minutes.
No, we have a 36-second one. Yo, call in. Cordell called at 3:10 in the morning.
He did say that on here. He called. He
Like your
works.
style,
He
bro.
works during the night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like all his Instagram posts and things are always like at 3 a.m.
All right, call in.
Well, let's listen.
What, do
to
you have
some
some voicemails?
mail.
Let's
Well,
play
I'm
'em.
going to put the number up first. 225-22.
And remember, we're taking your mailbag questions
77.
inside of the chat as well. So if you have a mailbag question.
It's weird. Jeff in Kenner says line says not accepting calls.
Oh,
You know, it might be on airplane mode from the interview that we did.
I used it yesterday. No airplane mode. Were you take it off Wi-Fi? Maybe. They did. We do get some odd text messages, and here's one: your bill is now past due. To make a payment now.
Oh, well, there's the problem. Where's the bill?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't. Well, we also look. Okay, so this is why I don't really take these seriously. I thought it might have been a fraud because we also have.
Oh, yeah, there are a lot of those.
Bang energy drinks. Hey, profit from a promotional advertisement for Bang energy drink Rain. They want me to, I guess, wrap our car with Bang energy, but listen to how much they'll pay you. It's simple to put the decal on. It's simple to remove. You can do this to earn extra money while continuing to drive as usual. The program will last for 12 months, and the minimum period you can participate is 3 months. If interested, you'll be paid $600 every week.
What? That's
I
a
was
lie.
like, that's what I'm saying. So I was like, God damn,
Your
I'll do
car's
that for yeah.
Your car's about to be an ad from Bang.
The Bang bus.
That would be amazing.
And then, so we get so much bullshit. I don't know if any of this is real.
What's the number? I'm gonna call it.
I just did. It's not
And it didn't work.
Yeah.
Well, William Ivey just asked, #Ask Jordy, should the Saints start Andy Dalton?
It's getting closer to that day. Yeah, I mean, but I also think that there's more things than just Jameis that are haunting the Saints. I don't know how much a quarterback change would really make them right. I mean, like the play calling is no good. The protection at times is no good. I still think that Jameis sometimes runs into trouble or moves into trouble rather than staying behind a clean pocket. But there's just some things that are haunting the Saints right now, man. I don't know if a quarterback change is the exact remedy that they need.
Yeah, I think the play calling has been the biggest thing for me.
Gosh.
I mean, like, just how different it is from last year to this year. Because, I mean, last year you had the receivers, schemed up, but they couldn't get open because, I mean, they were 4th, 5th string guys. But now you actually have receivers, but the play calling is terrible.
It's bad. I mean,
For who?
The Saints.
Oh, yeah, it's rough.
Rough like you, bro.
I'm starting to feel better. I'm sorry. I think the cough is a good thing.
You just
Really?
got it all out.
Yeah.
What's your theory on that?
It's getting all out there. It's,
Yeah.
my body's moving.
Getting it all out there on everybody else, or
No, I left the room. It just happened to be a big one.
Turn the phone off and turn it back on.
Oh, that's usually my
It
trick.
really was suspended, but I think they split us into. And nobody needs to know all this. But anyway, turn it off and turn it back on.
How do you turn these off?
on
Hold
the
the button
side.
down.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we could still play the voicemails also.
Hold on. We'll get. If this is
We'll
what
be
works.
back with our
We'll be
phone
back.
call
Let's
segment.
deal with
I mean, I
Voicemail.
feel like this isn't my fault.
Go to break.
It's
It is
not
your
your
fault.
fault.
It is
It's my
your
fault.
It is your
Boyd.
fault.
Yeah, it's. Oh, look, housewife came to pay the bills on time.
I
Tell him.
know. It's my fault.
Tell David to pay the.
I know.
fucking
David's
Yeah.
late on the bill again.
Tell him to pay for
I
the-
can't believe
Can't
this.
sit on the couch anymore.
All right, phone's coming back.
All right, we'll be right back here with voicemails, phone calls, and mailbag segment. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Thank you, Tiger Droppings.
Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet, live on this Wednesday. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button if you don't mind. If you have not subscribed to the show, make sure and hit the subscription button as hit the notification subscription.
Please send them to me, Katie at jordyculotta.com.
Katie,
I'll get the word out.
Another thread on the OT. Katie staying hot on the OT this morning. One was just a knowledgeable chick on the Culotta Show is the newest thread on the OT
Boudreaux,
Lounge.
I know that's you, sweet thing.
First line is hot.
Oh my gosh.
We're in your world, Tiger Droppings.
So weird.
We're lurking all over you.
Don't think we don't know.
Yeah, we see you. We hear you.
And don't think we don't appreciate you. I
Yeah,
mean, you carrying the
please.
show for us
Absolutely.
today.
It's true, I guess. I didn't even know
Such a
OT
compliment.
existed, though.
Yeah.
5-page thread.
A whole new.
Just on Katie's FBI source.
Yeah. I mean, your source got to be sweating right
No
now.
doubt.
I mean, she's not listening,
Jeez.
but I feel
Oh,
really
it's a
bad.
female.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, figure it out now, y'all.
Hell yeah.
Y'all never
Yo,
will.
they were probably talking over caviar at the supper club.
We totally did. At home all day.
Yeah.
Watching Days of Our Lives.
Drinking Chardonnay
That's
and
what I
taking
do right
Xanax.
after this show.
Pay our bills, David.
I'll take another, please. Ugh.
All right, y'all call us.
Phone lines are open. 225-229-7741. Have a take, don't suck. The phone. Let's go, Hunter Hall. You ready to talk some? He said he wants to talk trash about Auburn.
Ooh,
Hey, we're ready.
You got a voicemail you can fire off at us?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We got call waiting. We paid for that, didn't we?
Maybe.
Good morning to all the gang, including Gossip Girl Katie, Jeff, and Kenner. 2 questions. Number 1, have y'all noticed that Greg Brooks is eerily reminiscent of Honey Badger in his play, his hits, his timeliness? It just seems to me like he is a reincarnation of Mathau. And number 2, Katie, since you are the gossip queen now, not the carpool queen, can you call me and let me know where Jimmy Hoffa's body is buried? Thanks.
That was good, Jeff, as always.
I'm going to give Jeff a pass there. There's no way that he called Matthew Mathau.
Mathau, yeah.
Right.
I heard it.
Did he? Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
Maybe he was
Easy
thinking of
on the
Walter.
comparisons to the Badger. That is
One of
royalty. That is royalty. But I will say that Greg Brooks is a for sure tackler, as LSU has on their team, and he is fun to watch play. But Badger lives in a league of his own, especially on this show. Mailbag. With Dellinger out, who takes over at center against Auburn? Brian Burgess wants to know. Well, they've been running Charles Turner at center for the last 2 weeks and moved Dellinger over to guard and had Miles Frazier at a guard with the 2 freshman tackles in Emery Jones and Will Campbell. I would expect now to see either Anthony Bradford or Xavier Hill slide in at the guard spot to replace Dellinger. And, Charles Turner is the center right now. Right?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello? Are you talking to me?
Is this thing going?
Sorry, I was reading the next quote.
Yeah, everybody's reading the internet now.
Katie is hot because she's in the same room as Lloyd. I guess somebody wrote that on
Is this
there.
on Tiger Drive?
No, Charlie Oliver put it in our chat in a quote, so I'm assuming it's on Tiger Drive.
Yeah, it has to be. Hey.
I'm going over.
Coach, I'm in the room. Where are you?
Exactly.
At least I'm in the game.
Exactly. There you go.
I have her number. We're personal friends on Instagram.
We text at night.
Close friends.
She's not good and only looks hot because she's in the same room as Lloyd.
She's not good.
Somebody quote tweeted, knowledgeable, Culotta show does not compute.
Oh, my God. The time they take to get on there just to say the thing.
But how do they know all this? So they must be listening.
Well, they have to be.
It's like, I don't know why. Well, I fill my head with all this garbage, but I do every morning from 7 to 9.
Man, I don't watch and listen to things that I hate that just drive me crazy. I try not to put that kind of energy in my life. I think people need some lessons
You would think.
on that.
You would think. You would think.
Some people hate watch.
Yeah, I guess so. But, man, don't you have anything else to do? A job?
Not a lot of content on LSU athletics out there. Tough to find. Especially in this one building.
All right, more voicemails. What we got? Didn't you say we had a full voicemail?
No, we just had that one.
That was it?
Just the one?
Yeah.
I thought you said
we
14.
we got Cordale's, but those are all old.
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
Yo,
Felitos.
gang.
What
It's
up?
Cordell.
Gang.
Gang.
How do y'all feel about Kim Mulkey getting backlash from her former players for not commenting on the Brittany Griner situation?
Man.
And I'm going to try to get y'all some exclusive gear before the Bama game.
Let's go, bro.
I'm having a lot going on personally, so it's been keeping me from doing what I need to do. But just for the crew, I'm going to try to hook y'all up. Holler at me.
Hook it up.
Hook it up.
Cordell.
We'll help
So
you any way we
sweet.
can, bro.
We made some comments about Mulkey earlier in the show. And look, Mulkey's a polarizing figure. And I don't think that, she's never going to get it right for 100% of the crowd just because of how brash and intense and aggressive she is. She's in your face. And she doesn't apologize for it. And she rarely, if ever, bites her tongue. So I think that she didn't say anything controversial.
No, it's the fact that she didn't say anything.
It's the fact that she has made a comment about this.
What'd she say?
She was on a podcast shortly after this news broke and was asked about it. And she made the comments of that she thinks about it. She tries to keep up with it, and
She's got to. She's got to think about it.
yeah, I mean, but she has said so much, right? Like she has made comments on it. So
Well, she knows that everybody's going to rip her apart no matter what she says. Really,
Exactly.
because they do. I mean, I'm getting it on national email from national sports emails.
Yeah,
about
absolutely. Yeah, well, I think that's who she is now, though.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what
Yeah.
she says. Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jordy, it's Mike in Mandeville.
Mike in
Heading to
Mandeville. Good
Auburn.
morning.
Heading to Auburn this weekend. You got any recommendations on places to eat?
Places to eat in Auburn. They have the supper club.
They do.
At Auburn, they have a supper club there, but you have to buy a membership card to get in. And then, of course, at Auburn, I'm trying to think on Auburn where I've
Katie will let you borrow.
Yeah, I'll get you mad. Don't worry.
They have the square, you know. I mean, like that's their big thing. There is, you know, around Toomer's Corner. They've got a lot of cool places. Have you ever been, Mike?
No,
Oh,
no.
wow.
Well, in my early 20s, but I don't recall.
You don't remember it, yeah.
Scouring
Right,
the
right.
campus much.
Got you. Great pregame when they release the Eagle and he flies around the stadium and it's an incredible pregame experience. But Auburn's a good game day experience, man. It should be fun. LSU should bludgeon them though.
Hope so, man. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Yeah, I wish we could provide more about that.
Yeah.
I'm just not familiar enough with Auburn to know.
Me either. I don't know that much about Auburn. What SEC town do you know the most about outside of Starkville?
Oxford.
Outside of Oxford.
Baton Rouge.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Come
I
on.
don't
What, are you
know.
gonna play the stupid
I mean,
game
I
all
guess
day?
it's Tuscaloosa, but it's just been a while, so I know there's a lot of new stuff. I mean, I went there all the time.
What a beautiful place Tuscaloosa.
I know you love
We're getting
Tuscaloosa.
If you're gonna cough, can you cut your mic off over there?
Oh, my
please?
bad,
Thank
bro.
You. Yes,
This
thank
coming
you.
from
Yeah,
you really
thank
means
you.
a lot. Pot meat kettle.
What's your name? Where you calling from? Have a take, don't suck.
What's going on, guys? Yeah, so this is my favorite week.
What's your name? Where you calling from?
So this is Hunter Hall.
Oh, what's up, Hunter? Yes.
This is me.
Sorry, we didn't recognize.
That's what it sounds like.
Wow, yeah, this is me. Yeah, so this is my favorite week as to pull against Auburn.
Oh, sweet.
With Alabama not playing them, obviously. So yeah, go Tigers. Don't take it easy on them. I hate them.
Yeah.
I went down. Then, you know, I hope the 11 o'clock game for Tennessee hasn't just shooken everybody up too much. But, you know, we got to keep the first-year Saban comparisons at Alabama going. When he played at first year at Alabama, had Tennessee at 11 o'clock. Blew him out the door. Blew him out. Had an NCAA textbook scandal, too.
Oh.
So it was wild.
Oh.
Wait,
so, hey,
Wait, was that Fulmer?
Yeah.
Wow, that was Fulmer's last year. Damn.
That was it.
Wait,
Well,
so is your second favorite team LSU and you're an Alabama fan?
No. So, big Alabama guy. Family down there in Louisiana, went to school down there. So, actually heading down there to Baton Rouge this weekend. So.
Just describe the hate for Auburn that you have as an Alabama. Why, like,
blood boiling already just thinking about November.
and this is because you went to Alabama?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so does it start like as a kid?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, we lost 6 times in a row.
Mm.
And
The one for the thumb. I still remember
Yeah.
Tuberville, the one for the thumb.
Yeah. So it was bad, and you know, half your school goes to Auburn, half your school goes to Alabama.
I know the feeling.
Did you marry an Auburn
It's-
chick?
I did not.
Because that's usually how it goes down, right? I mean, y'all
That-
hate them so much, and then y'all end up taking their women.
No, it's actually an LSU chick. So
Happens to everybody. South Louisiana, undefeated.
So
Undefeated.
Well, hey, and don't get us too high on our own supply again, because that's kind of what it felt like in that 7 o'clock hour. We've already been through this week one.
Yes,
with Florida
yes,
State,
I
so.
know. I am
and,
smoking
you know,
the chief on LSU for sure.
You watched that game last week in Auburn at 11 o'clock, and boy, that's classic Auburn, and that's why I hate them. When you watch a game like that and you say, "Hey, I just love watching our football," I can't trust people like that.
The dual personality.
As somebody who watches as somebody who watches SEC football, LSU's defense has to be intimidating to an opponent down the line, right? I don't want to put.
Yeah,
you tell me. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, I'm proud of LSU for looking better than they have in the past, and you know, you want to see that competition.
Save your pats on the head from the Alabama fan. I set you up on that one.
I mean, hey, one of my favorite memories was that 2011 game in Tuscaloosa. I think that's the best football game I've ever been to. And I went to New Orleans later on that year.
Were you the guy that was in my seat in Tuscaloosa that didn't have a ticket?
No, that was not me.
Or were you that little fratty fuck in the front row crying when y'all missed the field goal?
I don't think New Orleans will ever be the same after that.
Oh, way to pivot. He is the guy.
Yeah, that is him.
Totally is.
All right, Hunter, have a great weekend in Baton Rouge. We'll talk to you next week.
Y'all too.
All right,
we'll
buddy.
talk soon.
Later, man. See you. Have a take, don't suck. If you want to get inside, 225-229-7741, 229-229-7741. Rove Camara, you can tweet into the show. You can text into the show. Remember, you can call into the show as well. Each week
don't be scared.
FaceTime.
Oh, that's the move right there. Can we do that?
I don't know. I don't know why we wouldn't be able to. I could share the screen.
That would be awesome.
Let's call out some of these usenames on Tiger Dropping and see if we can get them to call.
Lunchbox, did you see that one? Here, we got a call right now.
He's the one that started it. Cody said.
Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Jeff Baird. I'm calling from Dallas, Texas.
Hell yeah, Jeff. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, man. I got a question. So, I watch you guys every day over from Dallas. And,
yes, sir.
Because you like us or because you hate us? We're not sure anymore.
No, just because I enjoy the show.
Thank you.
So, I saw the two guys that we were looking at for commits with quarterback yesterday.
Yeah.
And, looking at the future, at what point does, in today's NIL deal, environment, how long is a quarterback willing to stay and play? That's the real question, because you go get one of those two guys, that we're looking at, and look at the depth that we're starting to create. All of them can't play. So, what does that look like in today's world? Just wanted to know some thoughts. And, I got my favorite thing that you do, Jordy, is, I'm taking my shirt off for you. All right, you have a great day.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for listening over there. So I think you're talking about Julian Sayin, who the quarterback was in town, and then of course Ricky Collins, who's the commit to next season's class. Look, I subscribe to the theory that you need to sign at least one quarterback per year, with the mindset that you're going to lose one, if not multiple, per cycle, right? Just because of the nature of that position. It's recruited to playing time. It's recruited to promises. And now it's going to be recruited to money, NIL deals. What's our guy's name down at Miami? Stewie, that I always forget. Florida outbid him. Miami paid too much. They gave him $11 million. You know what I mean? Like, it's become a quarterback market that it's either going to go to the highest bidder, the one that can get on the field the quickest, and then it's not always going to work out. But what you have to secure yourself with is that you have to have one per year. You have to have one in the rotation that's in the competition.
Jaden Rashada.
That's, it's yeah. Tennessee's in the game. They're paying $8 million for a quarterback.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to I think Hooker has to leave, right? He's a senior. He's been there forever, it feels.
Yeah.
And if they bring in this cat, what's his name, Stewie? Nico, the guy, he wears pajama pants to all of his 7-on-7 and stuff. So he's already branded himself, but he can play.
Yeah.
So it feels like if Tennessee has a quarterback in this offense,
$8 million?
$8 million is going to keep them relevant.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So, look, I think you got to sign one per year, and you got to be in the NIL game if you're going to sign quarterbacks, because it's obvious that, there is a lot of hands out when recruiting that position.
Rat Owen's phone, this is a weekly bet every Wednesday.
I don't know if he's talking about, I didn't know if he's talking about the phone or if he's talking about Tiger Droppings.
Oh.
Another picture on Tiger Droppings.
What picture?
Just a screenshot, a little side profile of you.
Why?
I'm telling you, they do a
Smoke 225. You're freaking crazy. Culotta shows the best local show we got, hands down, not even close.
Boom.
Smoke 225 sounds like we know him.
Yeah. Sounds like I just made an account.
Yeah, right.
Is that you? In
oh, wow.
Oh, Oh, gee. Is that today, right now?
That is present.
Oh, geez. Who did that?
That's not one. That's a good one.
The FBI is definitely in behind this. But we don't know who made any of these because no one knows whose screen name belongs to who, right? Hello?
No.
Is everybody too wrapped up in
No, I'm just reading now. I'm in the hole. I'm in the hole.
What, right? Do y'all know people on Tiger Droppings?
Sure we know them. You just don't know them.
You don't know anyone's username?
I don't.
No one shares that ever? It's like that big of a secret?
Oh, man, there's some Buddy Sanji references in there. That's great.
Really?
I said it can't be the best local show. There's no there's no Mike from Pack.
An ode to the past.
Yeah. Hey, I know it better than most.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Do we have any other voicemails? Or that was it?
Flavor and spice, really do. Say it all.
Man to find meat.
Man to find meat. Extra spicy today. He stopped talking to me. I don't know
Really?
what happened. Yeah.
Skipped it?
No. Skip. No. You had to do a book signing. See, if I don't sign the book, then there's really no money in it for me. They want my name. So if I show up, I'm going to be a little sore from my handwriting.
Oh, my God.
Charlie Oliver, I'm Smoke225. Appreciate you, Chucky.
Oh.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks, Charlie.
I don't think we're allowed to have Tiger Droppings, right? If they found out we had an account, don't you get banned if you're like in the media?
really?
I don't know that.
Like if you post?
Is it true?
I don't know.
They find out and ban you?
I think so, because you can't like pub your own stuff on Tiger Droppings.
Yeah.
It would be like that's not what the
I
outlet's
get that.
for.
But I mean, you can still comment, right?
I don't
on
know.
Things? Y'all don't ever comment?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't have an account.
No, I don't have an account either.
Okay.
I did when I was in college, but that thing is I don't even know what it was.
So you only need an account to comment.
Right.
Right?
Everything.
Okay.
So what you're doing right now, Tiger Droppings 101, you're lurking.
Oh. Okay.
That's what they call it. That's why you see shite instead of shit and frick instead of fuck.
Ah.
Yeah.
Because then they'll remove it.
Yeah, well, that's just so it stays family friendly.
Okay. It seems like a very family-friendly site.
Yeah.
So good thing they're on top
Very
of that.
free speech.
Yeah, great.
Hit that like button, share button, comment button. We appreciate you being out there. Thank you for being here on this Wednesday. Continue to talk about us on Tiger Droppings. We love it.
I guess.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
If you can't take
Why
yeah,
not?
I mean this
Why
is
not?
the best part of life.
Why not?
I guess. It's just sad sometimes, but it's cool. All right, is that it? Bye.
All right.
Be sweet.
They're being sweet in our chat. That's
I
all
know,
that matters.
I know.
Love y'all. Thank you. I'm going to the doctor. Not really. Shea Recruiting
Yes.
Power Hour next. 10 o'clock.